All right, today I want to talk to you about how to make full, loud mixes, and what I really want to emphasize here is that so little of it has to do with mixing, plugins, EQ, compression, anything like that. What it really has to do with is choice of sounds, how they're layered together, and sort of what you want to complement and what you don't want to complement. And a little bit of panning and level on top of that. So this song has almost no compression at all on it. There's one thing that's compressed right now very slightly, just because it was sort of doing a clipping thing. There's a couple of high pass filters just applied to the bass so that the basses so that they don't just get too muddy. And otherwise, that is it. There is no other EQ. There is no other compression going on aside from the master compressor here. And it's just levels, panning, and arrangement. So let's take a quick listen and you'll hear how full it sounds already before I've done anything. And then we'll explain a little bit about what I'm thinking when I arrange this. And again, this is not even the finished song. Like, I would probably do maybe a few more layers, maybe a little bit more percussion. So let's give it a quick listen, but this is how to make a full sounding mix, and you do it before you actually get to the mixing stage, as I described in my videos with the 3 hats about the 3 phases of recording. So let's give it a quick listen. Okay, so still has a bit of work to do. Some reverbs and some delays would definitely, I think, bring parts of this together. Probably need another instrument or two just to really fill out some of the areas that I want. But it's a pretty busy song, but it's also a pretty full song. And I did this with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 tracks. So let's start by looking at the low end. So I'm just using some loop masters, or loop loft, not loop masters, the loop loft bundle. It's just an insanely good selection of drums, and I've got that on the low end. And then I've got 2 different basses here. I've got one sort of a sub, which I think I'm using Massive on. I'm using Monarch from Reactor 6. And so we'll listen to that. And this is sort of more just for sub. And then on top of that, I picked a real bass, an electric bass. And this is sort of more for the twang and the pluck. Let's take off the sub. And so I might go and change the rhythm on the sub because I'm not sure it's totally complementing the rhythm on the electric, but you can tell how much fuller the 2 sound together. And I mean, part of that is I have high pass filtered everything below 130 on the bass, but really this is adding just a ton of power to it. Then I went and selected a very full and lush pad, sort of to be the background with a lot of air and shimmer on it. I think this is from Massive. I know it's from Massive because it says that, but I've tweaked it a little bit, but let's listen to that. Okay, so to complement that, what I've done a couple things. I've put a horn section on using the Contact session brass or something like that. And it's on really low. In the actual mix, it'll probably sound louder and maybe a little cheesy at this stage, but I think it sort of just creates a nice pad sound in the context of everything when the whole mix is there. So you hear how it just adds a little extra, like where the pad is sharp, the horns are a little warm and round. And I don't know if I've asked you guys to like and subscribe yet, but if you do enjoy this, please be sure to do that. And leave a comment about how you guys get your mixes to sound full and what you might do to make this mix sound even fuller. So we got the horns, and now what I've gone and done, what I went and did, sort of to complement the bass a little bit more, as I added a muted guitar on the first half that's sort of playing a simple, funky riff, kind of similar to what the electric bass is playing. And it just creates a little more tension and rhythm. So from there, what I wanted to do is add more movement, and I added a couple of chordal guitars, two very different ones that really complement the main pad, but that also complement each other. So first I added sort of a twangy, and I should probably switch to mute actually. I'm going to mute everything instead because this will make it easier to solo stuff. Okay, so I think this is where we left off. So this is sort of just recorded my Les Paul through some pre's, but mostly I'm using the guitar rig from Native Instruments, which I've just started getting into and which is epic. I'm probably going to sell my Avid 11 rack because I already like it so much. So let's listen to this. And so you can hear how that vibrato is sort of rhythmically in time with the side chain compression effect on the pad, and how it sort of attacks at the same time, but they create these interesting after movements. And then to sort of bring that out a bit more, what I did was I created a fuzz guitar and panned it the other direction. It's not really fuzz, but whereas the one guitar with the twangy one was playing open chords in the lowest position, this other guitar is playing power chords in the middle of the neck, on a much dirtier setting, but you'll hear how they sit together. So those two guitars together really create a full sense of space. And now let's... And again, this is like, the one thing I will say is like, what I've written here is the most complicated part of the song. They probably will not all be playing at the same time as they are right now. It's definitely busier, and there'll probably be vocals at some point, and then. But this part here is sort of to complement the drums, and it's just a very busy lead part, but I think it adds a lot of movement to it. Add a little bit more rhythm. Well, to add the climax at the end of this part, I created a lead guitar and a lead guitar and a lead synth, both of which sort of, I think, are playing mainly, I think, the thirds of the chords in the first part of the measure. Or maybe they're playing the root notes. I don't remember at this point. But let's listen to the synth one first. And hear how that helps the pad. And now it takes the... So to complement that, I recorded a lead guitar part with a really high, gainy, shreddy sound as well. And I think it basically plays the exact same part. But together they sound much more rocking than either by themselves. And it makes it sound a little less like Mega Man or something. So there you have it. This is a song that literally I made in, 4 hours. It has not been mixed at all. I have not even finished recording it. But what I want to say is, like, this is like what you need the song to sound like coming out of the recording stage to have a decent shot at mixing something that sounds good. If it doesn't sound full and complete before you go to mixing, you probably need to work on your arranging and your sound choice. And thankfully, in this world of VSTs, there are a lot to choose from, a lot of sounds to choose from, but you need to still pick the right one. It all still is going to come down to you and the magic within inside of you. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you liked the song. Let me know what you think about everything, and be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks.